Greetings, Kaiser Soze with a relatively unique video blog for Best Buy Plug-in Blog. As you can see, I am sitting at an electric drum kit. Before I get started, I need to make this abundantly clear. You'll know this soon enough. I am not a drummer. As you've seen in some of my other video blogs, I mean, it's a stretch sometimes to call myself a guitar player. I can rudimentarily do some, 4/4 beats, but anytime I try to do something drummery, I tend to get lost. I can find my beat again, but yeah, it'll be ugly and gross. But this is not about me and my lack of drum skills. This is about the Carlsbro CSD130, a remarkably inexpensive entry-level electronic drum kit. If you're familiar at all with drum kits, you're probably familiar with Roland or Yamaha. I know Alessis has some entry-level ones as well. And my understanding is this is a fairly new player into the game. So what are we talking about here? Relatively inexpensive drum kit that has some very good features and some weaker features, and we'll certainly talk about both. We can see the control panel that comes right here. It's got a very good and easy to read and understand and use layout on it. I believe there's 20 different drum kit sounds that are available on here, as well as different voicings for each of those, and then each drum has its own voice within those setups. So if you're playing one and you go, I really like this bass drum sound, and in another preset you like the snare drum sound, you can take those and combine them together and make your own programmed drum set that way. So we have a crash cymbal, a ride cymbal, and a snare. Now the snare also has a foot controller. So the foot controller, when it's depressed, is a closed snare. When your foot is not on it, it's open. And so I could hit it open and then snap it closed. Like that. And snare, tom, tom, tom. And the bass drum. Now, the bass drum is actually very cool. The two pedals themselves are great in that they're really well built. It's metal. They feel solid. They're not slipping and sliding around or anything like that. They work really very incredibly well. So let's take a quick look just at, for instance, some of the drum sounds. So, you start, I'll go back, I'm on number 7 right now. I will go back to number 1. So if we look here, it says there's the button that says kit. If you hit kit and then hit data, then that will take you up and down through the different drum kits. So you've got, kit number 1. And kit number 2. So you can hear the different snares right away. And so you can go through all of those, and some of them kind of get into that electronic drum sound. So you can get ones that ring. Now it's also got songs that will play and you can play along with, and then you can turn the drums off and then you can become the drummer. So let's try that. I haven't played around too much with that, but let's try it. So we'll go over to song. Let's see. Let's just randomly select song number 6. Oh, Grammy winning. I am going to change my kit back. I turn drum off, now it'll just be the awesome music. Yeah, so there you have it. So there's lots of awesome songs like that. There's also a click track that you can play along to if you're practicing and want to keep your time. And you can change the different sounds that makes as well, I believe. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. And whatnot, so you can play around with it that way. It also has an auxiliary in, so you could hook up an MP3 player to it and play along to your favorite song if you're trying to learn a song. Now, how I have this hooked up, and there's a few different ways you can do it, is I have a quarter-inch jack coming out and going into an audio interface, and so I'm running it right now through my computer. And out through studio monitors. I had it originally set up just directly out from the unit here and into a mixing board, and then from mixing board again out to speakers. There's lots of different ways that you're able to hook this up and connect this to speakers in order to make it make sound. It also has a MIDI out. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to give that a try as well, and perhaps I'll be able to drop that video in after so that I can record directly into Logic Pro, for example. And then theoretically, I believe as a MIDI signal, I should be able to play with it and tweak it. So I can take my sloppy drumming and fix it up and make it better, as well as add in perhaps some drum sounds that I wasn't exactly capable of producing on my own. So that might be a great way, and I'm hoping to find out if I can introduce my own drumming into some songs that I write, still having the ability to fix it and tweak it. So rather than I usually do where I have to program on my computer the entire drum thing, at least I'll be able to do some of it now. And I assume I should be able as well to further alter and adjust the sounds once I have them into my DAW, or my digital audio workstation. This is, so good, and it folds up. If you loosen the two connections right here, it folds up. It's super light. You just no problem at all lifting that up. You could fold that up, throw it in the trunk of a car, or what I've been doing is folding it up and just getting it out of the way if I need the space for something else. And yeah, for this price point, it's really amazing. They feel that the pads, I mean, my brother has a Roland, an expensive Roland kit, and I've only played with it a few times. But these pads feel similar to that. They're really good. I mean, I don't like the white snare pad. I just feel like that's going to get marked up and look ugly in no time. And I'll be honest, it was, it took a while to set up, and I'm still having some issues. I can't quite get it the way that I want. I find that some of the connections, no matter how hard I try, don't tighten up properly, so they're always still a little bit loose, and I might play them for a few minutes, and then I have to, go back and readjust the drums that shouldn't be moving in the first place. Minor little things. As you can see, or maybe not, I'm sitting on a, what are they called, an activity ball, one of those blow-up dolls. I mean, it's a good core workout, and Lord knows I need that, but there's no drum throne with it. I thought about going out and buying a cheap drum throne, and I might do that if I actually end up buying these. Then I will get a drum throne for it. certainly makes a big difference. I tried just in a regular chair at first, and that was difficult. So if this is something you're going to purchase, recognize that you're going to need a drum throne. One other thing that I'm a little bit leery of is by having all of the different components, so the snare and the toms and all of that connecting into one main housing unit, it's handy in that it plugs in all at once. But if one of these connections fail, then you're going to have to replace the entire connection unit because you won't be able to just individually replace one. So, that could be problematic and probably not the greatest thing in the world. About covers some of the main things that I wanted to talk about. I can't speak directly to, how resilient it is or how long it's going to last. I've only had it for a couple of weeks, and frankly, I haven't spent nearly as much time playing around with it as I would like to, but everything still looks good and is in top conditions. So this is certainly something that you might want to consider as a gift, perhaps, if you've got a young one in your family that that says that they want to play drums and you don't want to spend a lot of money. I mean, it's got a headphone jack as well, so they can practice away. And just as a for instance, here's what it sounds like when it's on and ready to play. And when it's turned off, or if you were wearing headphones, it would sound like this. So, yeah, if you're in an apartment, it's a great practice tool. I know the reason my brother went out and got his Roland was, he leaves his acoustic drums at our practice space, but this way he's still able to practice songs and learn songs and whatnot when he's at home, and again, quiet when he's not wanting to disturb people. So, definitely check it out. See if the Carlsbro CSD130 is what you're looking for. Thanks, and stay tuned. I do have a lot of blogs coming up in the next little bit. I just got a bunch of gear from Zoom, and I'll also be writing some blogs taking a look at, great Christmas gift ideas for new and, continuing musicians. So thank you very much. I'm Fear Kaiser Soze.